Hi, everybody. I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching The Sit Down. Sam Strauss is here with us. She's the writer and creator of the brand new show on Showtime, The End. Sam, nice to meet you. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you've been doing the writing and the producing and the directing thing for a minute, but I know this one is super personal for you. It was your baby when you were 19, and now it's a series on Showtime. So what's it like for it to be out there and for people to be engaging with it?
Well, we're really proud of it, being able to take an Australian story to America. I mean, and that's a bit of a dream. It's coming at a interesting time because a lot of the show is about, it's about death and how we look after our loved ones as they die. And a lot of Americans have just experienced that. So I think, maybe nerves are raw, but our series has a really hopeful heart underneath it, and is really all about family and finding the fun in sort of aging. So I really hope that it finds some audience and people who love it as much as we do.
I think it's definitely going to resonate with folks. And I mean, what are the odds that a once in a generation pandemic will be going on while your show first comes out? I mean, that's got to blow your mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We filmed it, before the pandemic was even a glimmer in the eye. So we've been sitting on it for a little while. It's insane how the world is wild, how the world has just changed so much.
No doubt about it. Well, you and the rest of the crew really focus on important things here, and that's the end of life. And it's something we don't like to talk about. It's something we like to avoid. And you put your own little twist on it here. So what was most important for you to address here with this series?
I wrote this series because I was inspired by a personal story of a grandmother who had sort of a flowering at the end of her life. She'd only ever been a wife or a daughter or a mother. She'd never been single. And when she was single, she, in her 80s, after her husband had died, she had this sort of new lease on life. And it really always inspired me that you can make all these mistakes, but maybe if you get it right at the end, if you can find a way to have some fun, to make some new friends, or just to really discover who you are at your deepest core, then that to me is a life worth lived. So that was what was really important for me to always have that kind of optimistic heart underneath everything. Apart from that, we wanted to show the assisted dying debate, but from all the different angles. It doesn't sort of it's about a palliative care doctor as well who doesn't believe in euthanasia and the right to die. And so it explores definitely from her point of view why she thinks there are problems, if we have this system or if it's underground. So we tried to show all aspects of the debate, and but mostly what I just wanted everyone to come away with was the experience of intergenerational living, the love that we pass on from grandmother to mother to child, but also the guilt and the baggage, and we are all messy people who are products of our past and our families, and so that's what the show's about.
I mean, so much of what you're saying too hits on family, right? And there's so many different messages about family here. And listen, like, everybody's got their stuff, right? And I think your show just kind of spills it out there and be like, you know what? We're going to laugh about it. It's some messed up stuff. It's hard to talk about, but every family has it. So what's most important to say about family here in your series?
Well, they really give each other a very hard time, but they do show up for each other at the end. I think, that they are all very similar in ways. I loved writing the grandmother character and the teenage character, and because they are much more similar than they ever could have imagined, and they become really good friends across the series. And then I also wanted to show women in their 40s who are sandwiched in between, like looking after aging, difficult parents and also difficult aging teenagers, and they're and they're trapped in that kind of sandwich generation and juggling. And I think a lot of women can relate to that juggle.
Yeah, that's definitely a universal theme. You've worked with a lot of really talented people in your career. Harriet Walker is in this show. What was it like getting to work with her?
She's amazing. I mean, her first day on set, we put a plastic bag on her head and threw her out a window on the Gold Coast in Australia. She's a dame from England. So, it was sort of 40 degrees heat, and we were, faking some snow. So she was a complete trooper, and arrived with this really sort of brave spirit. Harriet is interesting because she's played a lot of really amazing women, but she says that roles for her age group, she's in her 70s, are really you're often playing the obstacle character or the cranky old lady, and she loved that this character had a lot of different sides to her, that she wasn't just one thing making trouble for the younger people.
The layers to a woman's character are super important, whether you're 40 or 70 or somebody in your teen years. How important is it to you to give women, especially, the runway to really work those things out through your characters?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the only way that I know how to work, and all of my work comes from that place. Women to me are endlessly fascinating, as are men. But my job as a creative is to tell stories that we haven't necessarily seen as much of before, and how women operate in families is really interesting to me. And so that was definitely important and
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And going off that point too, I mean, the Australian entertainment industry is super robust, right? We just focus here on America and Hollywood and all that, but Australia has a lot going on. So how did that inform you growing up in terms of becoming a storyteller you are today?
Well, we are robust. We're really proud of our Australian stories, and we watch them as Australians. But we also get a lot of American shows that come and film in Australia, and I spent my early part of career sort of working on them on the sets. We look to America, and we look to England for as our role models for storytelling. But we are kind of different culturally as well. We're sort of we're quite blunt. Sometimes Australians. So it's interesting writing for different markets, because you realize just how different you are.
No question about it. I think it's cool you go through different journeys with each project, right? So you have this one. I know Nine Perfect Strangers is coming out. It's got a lot of buzz right now. So what was it like working on that one?
Oh, that was absolutely fantastic. Nicole Kidman has been a real guardian angel to me. She's helped me so much in my career, and getting to work on a Leanne Moriarty book, which she's one of my favorite authors. And we filmed in Byron Bay, which is the sort of the most beautiful part of Australia, with these incredible actors. I mean, it's a bit of a once in a lifetime experience. And I think that they all just had a lot of fun. We were sort of trapped in a bit of a COVID bubble, but the wheels come off in the show, and I think everyone had a terrific time.
You mentioned how important Nicole. Yeah, of course. You mentioned how important Nicole has been in your career. When you think about her as an actor and performer, what do you think are some of her strongest attributes? Because she's played so many different roles. What stands out to you as somebody who's worked behind the scenes with her?
It's incredible to have that work ethic, to have made that many films, and to still be showing up, with an immense desire to do good work, and to sort of, look at the scripts and to dig into them, and to, try to find the truth and the joy. And she's kind of relentless in her approach, and frighteningly intelligent, which I think is which you can definitely see on screen. And she's also incredibly funny. Sometimes you think of her as in her more sort of austere roles, but she's a very funny person, and she does comedy incredibly well.
There's no doubt about that. When you think about your work, whether it's Nine Perfect Strangers, The End, what's most important to you about what you're trying to do with your art and what you're trying to say here with everything you've done?
Oh, that's such a nice question. I just want to tell the truth, and that it's going to be okay. Ultimately, I don't want to do anything that's too grim. My experience of the world is it's full of really interesting, complicated, but also beautiful people. So everything I write, I try to have it with a bit of a warm hug attached.
I like that perspective. I feel like the painting in the background kind of is representative of what you're putting out there.
The Zoom backgrounds. It's the only clean part of the house.
I like it. Well, Sam, I'm really excited to check out the show. Thank you so much for the time, and a pleasure to talk to you, right?
Thank you so much.